Hey everyone, real quick before we get into this episode, I just wanted to let you know that this is part 2 of PenPlays episode. If you haven't already seen part 1, it'll be linked in the description. Alright, thank you so much for watching and enjoy the episode.
I've learned that with these podcasts, we tend to rabbit trail a lot.
We do, but I was like specifically looking forward to doing that with you because I'd listened to some of the other podcasts you were on and I noticed you're really good at that and I do that a lot too and I was like this is going to be great.
It's part of the fun.
Exactly. So many tangents, but that are like interesting tangents.
Yes. It's content.
Exactly. It's just an interesting flow of information. Like we've covered so many topics that I'd kind of put down to talk about already. And one of the things I really wanted to talk to you about was original themes and things like this because you have a lot of know-how with that and also original themes are like my thing. So it's been really great.
We love them.
Exactly. I wish they would do more of them.
I think that we are doing pretty okay in that regard, but
I don't
it
know.
should be more.
I feel like I feel like we could have some more. Like I mean, sorry. Like not I guess we have a decent amount of original themes. I guess I should say more original story themes.
I like to call them the one and done themes. The idea is Lego goes in, designs a whole wave of sets, and then puts a lid on it after a year.
Yeah.
Like they used to do
That
with all
could
the
be
space sets. So it's like Alien Conquest, Galaxy Squad, all that kind of stuff. Where it was never meant to be anything more than like, here's a year's worth of stuff and that's it.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think, not every original theme needs to last as long as like Ninjago or something. But I will say the one theme that I hope does last that long is Monkey Kid. I
Yep.
really hope it lasts.
Well, the fact that we've reached year 4 on Monkey Kid, I think that we can say that there's hope for it. What's cool too is that with
True.
those one and done themes though, is that if they end up really succeeding, they can extend its life. Like basically
Yeah.
that would work as a means to just throwing mud at the wall to see what sticks,
Exactly.
And if
And
it
like
sticks, go for it.
absolutely. And that's what's happened with a lot of the ideas sets as well. Like the Sonic
Yes.
set that started a theme, Minecraft. There's
So we've
another
been
one
told,
of
yeah.
the sitcom sets.
Yes, that's the sitcom sets are such an interesting one too, because like they branched out a little and then they kind of dialed it back a little. It's like no, let's just stick to just what ideas is offering, and it worked. I think the Friends apartments did quite well. Personally, I don't think they did as amazing as Central Perk because they're a little bit more expensive, but could have sold them
Definitely.
individually, in my opinion. But that's just me.
No, that probably would have been a good idea, but hey.
People love it. It's not for me.
Hey, if they'll buy it, I think it works for Lego either way.
That's the thing that I get that I don't get about the whole argument of like, oh, I wish you just stopped doing licensed themes. It's like if we didn't have licensed themes, we wouldn't be here today now, would we?
True.
Like,
However, one thing I will say is I wish we had some more relevant licensed themes, like Avatar. That was good. They hopped on that at the perfect time. And I'd really hope that they do more stuff like that in the near future.
see, you say that.
What?
Avatar. Yes, you are right that they hopped right on it, but something that's becoming increasingly apparent to literally everybody who is invested in that franchise this past year was something that they realized very early on with the first movie back in the turn of the decade there in the 2010 time around there. People don't want toys from this movie.
Really?
No, they do not.
How
I've
come,
heard
though?
purely through the grapevine kind of stuff, where apparently, and this is mostly in Europe from what I understand, is that a lot of stores are purging them, like 50% off plus discount, just because they're not moving. I've heard word that from people who work at like ma and pa stores, family owned stores in Australia, I believe, that they're no longer able to order them for
Really?
Lego, which would mean that there's dialing back. That's an assumption, though. I don't know. Like that's purely word of mouth. It could be wrong. Could be a lie. Could be someone who's bitter. But I, my, from the start, like the moment that I had heard about it, I had felt like this is going to be another Overwatch situation. See, it's not a matter of it being too late. In fact, they were right on top of it, which I really do. You're right. We have to commend them for being right on it. That was so smart of them to do when they did it. The problem is that the beauty of that IP is cool, but anything that is beautiful of that IP outprices the people who are interested. And anything that's less than that are just the creatures. And people aren't exactly there for the creatures. They're more there for either that or the military vehicles. And well, we know how LEGO feels about that. So they put a chainsaw in the AMP mech when it was.
That's less violent than a gun.
It's a rifle, okay? It's a shotgun, is what it is. It's something, but it's something.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it's not a yellow and black chainsaw, that's for sure. But you see, they actually have been on top of doing relevant IPs. It's just that what they've been doing has been specifically for younger audiences these past few years.
I guess
Trolls,
so.
Minions, Angry Birds was another one of those as well.
That
all
feels
of that.
like just a weird dream.
I sold the stuff when I forget it exists. They worked like the game though. Like stuff would fall over if you launched the birds into them. It was actually really clever.
That's very clever.
But it's based off the movie, and the IP does not have that kind of longevity. As nostalgic people are for it, no, especially if they start getting more expensive as they go, and they got expensive. Or the expensive set's great. They're better than most, but better than some.
Definitely, yeah. I do wonder though, when you say that, people from what you've heard haven't really been wanting toys from things like, Avatar and stuff like that. I wonder if the reason that is because Avatar isn't really a kids movie. Like it's a late teen adult movie, cuz those are deep. They cover some heavy topics. I full on cried watching the second one. Like they're very intense, and I think that's probably why the toys aren't doing great, because a kid isn't gonna watch that. Like, see, I think if they hone in on more like collectors toys, then that would do well. But if they're just doing normal toys, like a 10-year-old isn't. I mean, most 10-year-olds aren't gonna be watching Avatar. I say that they're watching stuff like Breaking Bad now, so I guess I don't know. But
they're watching horror movies. Here's the thing, though. When they reach that age, though, where it's like, okay, they're making their own choices for consuming media, odds are is that they're going to choose to do it towards things that they're more invested in. I do not know a single teenager who is excited about Avatar the way I see most of them are excited about Marvel.
Yeah,
so,
that's fair.
And when I remember passing by, going in the action figure section at Target, and walking by all of the Buzz Lightyear toys collecting dust from that movie, that tragedy. Right next to it is the Avatar stuff, and they have these really, really superbly detailed, like, egg-looking things, that the idea is they're a blind box, but they look like a mossy rock, and inside is like a miniature toy of it, and it's like, okay, this is for the blind package little kid audience. No, it's not. Like, who asked for that? Who asked for that? Like, right next to it is the Roblox toys. They're gonna buy a Roblox blind box. I'm sorry.
Yeah, definitely.
It's being marketed towards the wrong group of people. The wrong kind of investment is being made in how these products are being distributed. Like, everything that McFarlane is doing for Avatar looks at beautiful, beautiful collectors type stuff that's relatively affordable. That should be like a consistent thing, but probably not do every little thing. Like, stick to the most iconic stuff. Like, make sure Jake and Neytiri have figures. Make sure that there's a Banshee that you can purchase. Stuff like that.
Exactly.
But with Lego Avatar, these are very much like they do try to market towards the 10 plus crowd, which I appreciate,
Yeah.
especially with the display stands and the like. But yeah, the fact that it's available in every single retailer is what surprises me.
Really?
Because of how narrow the audience is enough, I say dangerous, but it's not the smartest decision, because if you have it too blanket everywhere, it's going to become oversaturated on the shelves. It'll just kind of sit there. You don't want that to happen.
Too much of a good thing, right?
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
But from what I've been able to tell, that anybody who is interested, they are like, yeah, I want it. I'm waiting for a discount, though. Because everybody knows there is going to be a discount. Of course, right now we're still waiting on some of the sets to be resupplied post the holiday season. Because basically anything that has any sort of interest or excitement is going to sell out throughout the holidays. But so they're waiting for stores to get them back in again, and like before they end up discounting them again. And I'm sure they're going to discount them very soon. But
Oh boy, yeah. I see what you're saying. That's interesting.
I honestly haven't even seen any of the Way of Water sets in stores. Like,
Really?
I think that they've already kind of like come to terms with that maybe they shouldn't, or either that or they get picked over because it's actually relevant right now. I don't know.
Maybe. I think I've seen them in some stores here, but not a crazy ton.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I do agree with what you said about how it's cool that they at least did go for kind of like the 10 plus crowd with the with the Avatar sets, and then included like built-in like kind of bases for them to go on. I think that was a smart move.
Yep.
But I almost feel like Avatar would have been better as a fully fledged 18 plus line, where they could have kind of taken out some of the play features that weren't necessary, and gone
All
even
dioramas.
further in on the detail and more interesting things like that.
Like the Tree of Souls should have been its own just little display thing. Torok Makto should not have been included. Like if you literally did a build of just the Hallelujah Mountains and putting the Banshees in it, done deal.
Yeah, man, they could have done that as like a much bigger set. That would have also just been so cool.
Like we still would have gotten Payakan, absolutely, because just of how majestic the thing is, but definitely needed to narrow its focus.
Yeah, that's fair. That being said, though, I do think the Avatar sets are still incredible, even if they.
I agree. I think that they are a very important evolution to what we could see in the future. The whole display stand concept is something that people have been so desperate for years, and I'll gladly spend like $10 to $15 more on a set if I can have it displayable as opposed to just sitting there. So
definitely
stuff like the Batmobiles, the XL-15 from Lightyear, which is a great set despite the movie.
The Guardians ship,
stuff
the
like that.
Benatar, yeah.
Exactly, the Quinjet, all of that kind of stuff is like, these are all things where it's meant for display, but you can play with it.
Exactly.
Well,
I think that's the best mixture.
A lot of the
there.
sets are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, whereas a Lego art maybe is just more just for display.
Exactly.
Which is fine, but
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, a lot of the IP that they have right now they need to be capitalizing on the 18 plus crowd at this point. Like, Marvel not doing dioramas makes absolutely no sense to me in the slightest. If we can't get Disney Plus show sets because they're too dark, that's how we should get them, by all means. DC would thrive off of diorama sets. Like, the whole thing could just be that at this point, and have Batmobiles as the affordable thing and a couple 4+ Batman sets. That's all that you need to do, especially if they look really cool.
Yeah, I mean, they could do so much cool stuff with that, though. I feel like at the moment, I think DC could thrive off of anything it could get at the moment.
I see you say that, but I think that part of the reason why we haven't been getting a lot of investment from Lego when it comes to DC stuff, despite DC distributing licensing rights for like Black Adam and stuff, I think Lego has just opted out of not doing them until they know that the brand relevancy is there.
Yeah.
So they'll just stick with Batman for now, which in truth, it's the safest bet. I just wish that maybe Batman could be fighting alongside Superman every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe get some sets where I get, like, I don't know, a Batman set that has the Mad Hatter or Clayface in it instead of Bronze Tiger and a rehash of Mr. Freeze.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is it cool that we got Bronze Tiger? Absolutely it is. Could there have been other figures in that set that we haven't gotten before? Absolutely. Why it was a recolor of Man-Bat. Sure, that's cool. It's a reissue of Mr. Freeze. That's fine. And sure, I think the Batgirl was unique too at the time. But DC especially needs to its goal should be making fun toys, but absolutely blasting your brains out with minifigs.
Okay, that's interesting.
One of the biggest driving forces for superheroes in general has been the minifigs. Yeah, there's so many people who just buy sets. Okay, I got my figure. I'm gonna put the set up on eBay now.
Yeah, they're just
looking at all you Eternals people. I know what you did. Oh boy, do I know what you did. But like, and the Lego Batman movie actually proved this to a point where people were picking up the sets just to get the Rogues Gallery, which that proved right there that is where the superheroes line should be heading. And Marvel's been super good about this to a point. Let me rephrase that. To a point.
Definitely.
Where it's like, okay, sure, the Gargantos doesn't just have Doctor Strange in it. It has Wong and America Chavez in it. Now, could it not have included Wong? Sure. Are we happy Wong's there? Yeah, we're really happy Wong's there.
They couldn't go Wong with that.
You can't go Wong.
Sorry.
No,
I had to do that.
I appreciate the wordplay. But like, then you see some of like the problem areas too, and this is something that I see with a lot of themes, with the licensed stuff especially. Sets that should include characters that they don't, like the Benatar, the Guardian ship, the recent one with the display stand, that should have still had Gamora in it. That should have had Tony and Nebula in it.
Tony?
Because he gets trapped on the Benatar after the blip, after he gets snapped.
Remind me who Tony is.
Tony Stark.
Oh,
Iron Man.
Okay, yeah, right. I forgot. Sorry. It's been a bit since I've seen Endgame.
Yeah. But something like that. Oh, a great example is the Justifier. How that set got away with only 5 minifigs, I do not understand.
Oh yeah.
Cad Bane's great. I don't count Toto. Omega's great. Fennec is fine. Hunter is fine. That set should have included at least 2 more of the Bad Batch. At minimum, I think it should have included Nala Se, the Kaminoan that works with Omega. Just because Omega's in the set. Like, we have a Kaminoan now, I might as well.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about that set itself, but it's stuff like that, where it's like, why not include them here? Like, what is it? The Rise of Skywalker Millennium Falcon. Rey and Leia should have been included in that set, even if they're never on the ship, just because, like, okay, it's Rise of Skywalker. Poe should have been included in that set, too. I mean, sure, it's great that Finn and Lando are in it. Chewie's in it, too. Bulio's a cool addition. We didn't need him.
Bulio!
So far, Lego's the only toy that can accurately portray his fate. But it's underutilization of the minifig is what I like to put it as. Like, Ninjago has had this issue as well.
Oh my god.
And then some. Like, it's not me saying, oh, why isn't Fujidov in this? It's more like, why isn't Cole in this? Why is there no hair for the characters or whatever? It's like,
yes.
It's stuff like that where, yeah, it makes sense for them to be here. Like, I get Nia being in every. I love how they're putting Nia in almost every single set that Jay's in now. I love that. I think that's great. Even though she's always paired with Lloyd otherwise. Never, not very. I don't know, with Kai too, which it's cool that she's the most common minifigure in this most recent wave of Core too, which I did not expect that. But why? Then it's another situation where you come up with a minifigure and then you don't have to remake it for another 5 years. This was my biggest issue with Ninjago Legacy, is that if it's celebrating the legacy of the theme, why are these characters inaccurate?
Yeah, yep, that's a very fair point.
If you made a Fire Temple set that has all the original 4 in it and the original designs, guess what? That means that you have an original design for Kai, Cole, Jay, and Zane to use in every single pilot themed set that you remake. You never have to make a new one. You can maybe you can use the print budget to change their faces a little bit. If you feel the prints are outdated and outside of the design language, then maybe you redo it like you do with Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker upon occasion. Once you have one designed, you don't have to change it. So something, say, I'm not asking for carbon copies. That was one of the biggest takeaways from that one video that I did with the we want accurate legacy figures or whatever, is that people assume that I was asking for carbon copies of the originals, where it's like literally only one side printing for the torso, exact same printing for the head. No, like if I got that, I wouldn't complain. I think that'd be actually kind of cool, just as a throwback.
But no back printing, that would be horrible.
We've seen avatars in.
Exactly.
Why?
Exactly.
Print that print on white. Make a classic Zane head. Done deal. Like, you don't even need to change anything. Like, if it was in that design style, rather than the legacy geese or whatever that they did, I feel like that would have been where it should be going to, especially with the accessibility of Ninjago as well. Kids they want Rise of the Snake sets. They don't want a version of Kai. They want Kai from Rise of the Snakes. They want Lloyd from Rise of the Snakes. They don't want evergreen Lloyd that you put in everything.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And then once you've reached that point where you have if you have designs made for the original versions of the characters, and you don't have to remake them every year, that broadens the horizons for more characters that we've never gotten before. Because if they're not constantly remaking the ninja, we get new minifigures elsewhere. Now, because of the way that Ninjago fans have been treated with the minifigures that they've gotten in the main line of Ninjago, where every single year everybody gets new outfits, that's a luxury that we are really happy to have. But when it comes to these side things, they really don't need to change them. Like, the whole existence of Core is the spirit of Ninjago. You have a solid design for every one of the characters as a kind of like this is the generic version of Lloyd that you're going to see on the branding for the next 5 years or whatever, and that's fine. That just means I get new villains every year in that regard. Now, would it have been cooler if they were canon villains? Absolutely. Are they cool villains regardless? Yeah. I'm okay with that. But then, what's also really neat too is that if they're not making new outfits for the ninja in Core, that's money saved for new prints in whatever is coming in the summer. Which Crystallized just showed that. Like, this is what happens when we save money early in the year. Every single set has a minifigure that's completely unique. And there are 3 variants of a ninja. Now,
I know, that's so wild to me.
Do I want them to go that far with series from here on out? I don't think they need to. I think having a variant in general is enough. If they decide to do 2 variants, that's cool. That's fine. But it's money management is what it is. Do I feel every single Lego theme should probably have a bigger budget, specifically to take advantage and capitalize on minifigure interest? Yeah. Like,
I completely agree there.
I want the Scorpion and Fishbowl Demon from Monkey Kid. Can I please have that?
And something about the Monkey Kid thing that you say, which I find really interesting, right? So, they have the excuse of each theme has its own budget. They can only go whatever, right? Monkey Kid, they're really good at making, like, more side characters, things that Ninjago isn't great at. But one thing I find strange is they will make weird variants of the, like, main characters that aren't even in the show. And I find it kind of strange that they wouldn't put that towards making more of the characters that are in the show that maybe don't need new pieces. Like, there's a, like, underwater version of Tang. MK has, like, 7 different outfits, and, like, a lot of them are just not in the show at all. And it's kind of, I don't mind having more outfits for the main characters, but I feel like I'd prefer, more of the side characters and stuff to be prioritized over that.
See, part of me kind of agrees with that, but we're still getting pretty much every side character from Monkey Kid. Almost,
which is something I've loved about the theme.
We didn't get Agwong's his aid. We haven't gotten any. We haven't gotten a lot of the Heavenly Realm characters in their fullest, but we've gotten quite a few of them, which is pretty cool. And then there's some of the side demons and such. Like we haven't gotten the buff spider, which I've come to learn is more was a choice that the animation team made as opposed to Lego themselves. But that doesn't mean they can't make it in the future.
Yeah, no.
But I personally don't feel that Monkey Kid struggles in that regard, which is the reason why they get away with their variants for the Monkey King and the Monkey Kid. But also that does encourage collectability too.
True.
You don't really see them doing that with Sandy or Pigsy, though. It definitely feels like they're trying to do that with May, though.
Definitely, yeah. She's getting a lot of different outfits.
She's getting a new variant every wave, but not everybody is really. But she gets casual and armored versions like Monkey Kid does, which I love. But since the sets are made first, I get why the show might not use all of them, or the show might make some characters that don't actually exist. Yeah, it works, but we've reached a point now with Monkey Kid where I think that we need to treat it like a full theme and give this darn theme a direct-to-consumer set.
Oh my god, yeah. Wait, wasn't the City of Lanterns a direct-to-consumer set?
Nope.
No?
Huh. To put it this way, if we lived in countries where Monkey Kid sold generally, every single store would get the City of Lanterns. True, and they would get the Heavenly Realms, and they get the Monkey Kid team car, all of that stuff. They would get it all, which is it's weird because it's $150 plus. Where we come from an era where Lego would never do that, but now that's become a viable price point, and especially with the Monkey Kid sets too, because they're complete. You don't need anything else aside from maybe just one. Unless you really wanted more.
Definitely.
It's reached that point, but I'm talking like something in the $300 to $400 range. Like, I mean, like that's a lot of money, but like I don't know. I mean, like I'd fork over that cash.
Oh yeah, totally. Same here, man. That would be so incredible. I mean, like, what could they could do? I guess maybe something like Ninjago City, but Monkey Kid wise for their main city. So like something that the City of Lanterns could connect to, or it's just something like they have, or something that we haven't even seen yet.
I think that would cannibalize it.
What?
I think that would cannibalize sales from Ninjago. Because you technically could combine the Ninjago City stuff with Monkey Kid already. If you really think about it. I mean, sure, like none of the signs are written in Chinese. Sure. But
true.
But I think the idea is to take the idea of the Flower Fruit Mountain further. Beautiful sweeping locales with a large location built into it. I want them to build a large volcano with a Demon Bowl Palace in it.
Oh, that would be so cool. That would be so cool.
No, but it's like the whole concept is, okay, the MK and the crew are sneaking around, and it's like DBK is there, and Iron Fan's there, and Red Sun is there. It's all there, and it's like stuff like that. Maybe do Agwong's Palace. Maybe do a larger section of the Heavenly Realms. I don't know.
They could do, or something that we haven't even seen yet. Like, they have so much to pull from Journey to the West. Like, they could do it in like a year, and then have something that appears in the show, and then make that a 300 whatever plus set. Like, that would just be amazing.
The whole idea is that it's all a bunch of mountains. Make a bunch of mountains, but put the mountain thing on the mountain, okay? Well, I'm content with that. And maybe if we combine them together, we can make a whole mountain out of them.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, doing something like a bigger Flower Fruit Mountain would be cool, because the set is kind of hollow. So like doing something like that, or the volcano, like you said, just something of that sort would just look so incredible. Especially with Monkey Kid's designing and stuff like that. Like, yes. Just yes.
The thing with Flower Fruit Mountain, though, is that it's based off of a traditional Chinese painting. So it's basically, if you look at it from one specific angle and read it from right to left, it tells the story of the Monkey King. And that's what the little flags that are on the mountain are for, is that it's
Right.
basically the description of what's going on. So it's basically a page of a storybook. And that's why it's such a wide but hollow set. Because it's
I
more
see.
about the visual as opposed to it being the monkey base.
That's why it's, I guess, I have a feeling that's probably done better over in China and stuff because they actually will understand what it's meant to be more.
Um, from what I've heard through the grapevine, there's nothing like a Monkey Kid.
You mean over in China? Like,
Yes.
product-wise?
Like,
Oh,
yes, like the reason why we're on year 4 is there's a reason why we're on year 4,
Yes.
and
I am
there's
so happy about that.
yeah, it's an evergreen thing. There's no denying it at all anymore. It's here to stay.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
And what's great too is that at least we have access to it. If they do more
Yes.
stuff like that, I don't mind. If I can at least buy it off of Lego's website because I think it's cool, I'm there. I'm good.
Exactly. Yeah,
But
no,
then
it was, and like I think it was kind of destined to be just because they chose the perfect thing to base it off of,
They
and
did.
I don't, and if you see like some of the Chinese like promotional videos and stuff like that, like, God, there were people flocking to the stores on opening day and stuff like that, and I think
Super crazy.
it was wild, and I think the reason as well is because like Lego doesn't, from what I heard, it doesn't do particularly great over there, and like Ninjago didn't, so they did something specifically for them. And what do you know? It worked really well.
The word of mouth that I heard is that everything does okay.
That's good.
But because
That's really good.
because like Lego and Friends are more westernized, they aren't exactly the broadest appeal, but they love the idea of a dollhouse. There you
Yeah.
go. They know Star Wars, they know Marvel superheroes, they love those. But it's not like the end all be all thing because they're more perfect effigies of the thing as opposed to a toy version of it. But it's good for kids,
Definitely.
And the idea of D2Cs for Lego themes, Ninjago should be getting one every year, in my opinion.
Okay.
I don't think that it needs to be a Ninjago City every single year. In fact, I think that they should stray away from doing them as frequently as they have been because they sell great on their own. Let them breathe, and then introduce another one later. I would be shocked if we make it through the end of 2024 without seeing another installment in that set because it's just too good. But that's my opinion, of course. But
Yeah.
in between, like do in between sets. So it's like, okay, Ninjago City here, and then the next one will be Sensei Garmadon's monastery, and you're like, okay, but why that?
Borg
Okay,
Tower.
but here's the thing: if it's a beautiful Oriental temple, even if people don't know what it is, if you go ham on that thing, people will flock for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that was the appeal of what was it? The Temple of Air Jitsu. But this was before a time before Ninjago was a part of the pop culture. Was a pop culture phenomenon. This was before the movie Sons of Garmadon and all that. So that the reason why we haven't got anything like that is because Ninjago set's only going to sell so good before it's universally praised, But now that there's so much design sensibilities, especially we learned with how the Ninjago cities work and how Monkey Kid does its thing, like with the action themes and such, doing sets like the Palace of Secrets, the City of Shintaro, all that kind of stuff, like because it's more art than it is, okay, this is from Ninjago, I don't care.
Yeah, I completely see what you're saying there. I
Which is
wasn't
part of
sure
the appeal
at
for the
first.
city as well.
Hmm?
It's just part of the appeal for the Ninjago cities as well, because they look like art as opposed to just being Ninjago.
Exactly. No, you're totally right. And at first, I wasn't sure because I'd love more D2C sets like that. I wasn't sure if that would kind of fall into the problem that Lego's been having of doing more expensive sets. But once again, if they only did one like once a year, like you said, and did things like that, that would do. I think that would be pretty good, honestly, because it's appeasing the fans who, you know, want these locations and things like that they haven't gotten in proper scale or just haven't gotten at all. And then also people who aren't into it will be like, well, that looks damn good, I'm gonna get that. Like, it works out great.
Biggest pipe dream is a DTC City of Sticks.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Heck, you could do it as a second Ninjago City line. You just like, it's a section of docking and a dilapidated building on it. Release one every couple years or so, and then in the end they all interconnect into one floating city on the water, if you would.
That would be pretty cool.
Jamaica
and you can
Village,
even recreate the scene by throwing it in your bathtub.
Yay! But on top of that, like, we've reached a point now where they can get away with diorama sets too.
Yeah,
I don't think
definitely.
I don't think that it has a lot of longevity for Ninjago in doing that, because doing specific scenes, it's like, oh look, it's Red Ninja Kai and the girl with the white hair fighting a giant lobster with a cat face. Like, okay, is that a cool scene? Probably not. But then there's scenes where it's like the volcano inside the volcano, and then Garmadon is trying to save Lloyd. Kai's there to protect him or whatever. Like, that would be a cool scene too. But most of the scenes that are like that are not things that would work as like a full-on display set akin to how Star Wars would do it. But then that's the benefit of a true retro sub-theme for Ninjago, I suppose. Doing scenes that have never been done before, like doing a DTC of the Fire Temple that has the Fang Blade on the inside, but also the entrance to the underworld and can fit a dragon inside it.
I think that would be amazing.
Really, really, really beautiful Oriental palace.
Yeah, kind of like the things that Brick Legends does. Have you seen his videos?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Kind of like that. I think that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's all pipe dreamy stuff. Or, you know, just do weapons from the series. I don't know.
That'd be pretty cool. That would be cool, actually.
$150 for all 4 golden weapons. I'll take that.
A D2C
they don't even have to be drum lacquered. They can be warm gold. I will take that compromise. And, you know, if you want to be fancy, you can make it so you can rebuild them into the golden armor or the mega weapon or whatever.
That's an interesting concept. That could work.
They really don't capitalize enough on that, hey, you can turn this into that.
No.
For the display piece stuff. Like a lot of the flower sets, like you could hear a couple other options if you bought other sets. Like they're doing that with the centerpiece, the dried flower one, because you can get multiples of them and merge them together. But for stuff like Ninjago, it's like, okay, it's a golden weapon set. You have enough gold here for you to make the Golden Master's armor, or you can combine them into the mega weapon. Like, why would you not? Like, you have most of the staff in just the scythe alone. Add the handle for the nunchuck and the parts for the handle for the nunchuck and the Sword of Fire, and all the detail elements from each of the dragon heads and blades. You can get the mega weapon out of that easily.
That would
at
be
least
amazing.
You wouldn't be able to wear the Golden Master's armor, but you know.
Oh my god! Imagine if they did something that big. But you know what they could do?
I meant just his breastplate specifically, like the one from March of the Oni that they find.
Yeah.
Not the whole spider thing, which would be hilarious, but you know.
Imagine, hey, we released a like $2 billion Lego set full of real life sized Golden Masters like Spider Walker thing. My god.
It shoots actual webs.
Actual golden webs. Oh my god. You know what would be great? A D2C giant ham sandwich. That would be amazing.
That would be sick. No, it's a promo.
It's a promo. Yes. A promotional set.
Like,
oh my god.
The new Dark Bounties launching for this retro line of Ninjago, and it's like, for $35 you can get Chokun with a ham sandwich. Because they made a Chokun minifigure, and it's like, Chokun's dream, and it just has Garmadon with a mega weapon with a disgruntled face, and Chokun, you can literally embed him into the sandwich. But,
oh my god, like coming out of it, yes.
It's a detailed Lego sandwich. So suddenly that appeals to other Lego fans because it's Lego food. Realistic Lego food. Ooh. The Lego food gift with purchases.
Oh my god, like the Lego Food 18+ line, and we could get a set of Lego Leaks.
No, they deliberately avoid it to not at all acknowledge that because they're bitter.
Imagine someone like it's one of those gift with purchases where it's not specific to a theme, so it's just like with any purchases over this amount, and someone who bought like I don't know like icons just gets a giant ham sandwich gift with purchase, and they're like, the hell is this?
No, but the thing is that if it were the Ninjago one, it'd be like you get it with like $85 of everything. It's not just with the Ninjago specifically, like so that they can get rid of them easy.
Exactly.
But then in the future, it's like, oh, this did so well. Here's an 18 plus hot dog. But the threshold this time is $250 because you're gonna buy it anyway, right?
Oh God.
Haha.
Jesus. That would be hilarious though, my God. I think a food line could actually do really good. Like a ramen bowl, that would be awesome.
The only ones that they can get away with, honestly, are boxes of chocolate and sushi platters.
I agree. That does make sense. Sushi platters.
Those
So
are
just
the
any
only
pretty looking
things.
food.
It has to be pretty, and I'm not talking chocolate sculptures because those can be any way you want them to be. I'm surprised that they don't have a really fancy like Lego cake.
Yeah.
But probably we're wary of that kind of a market. But make it just exclusive to Lego store. Make it available for like 5 years to make sure you get rid of them all, like the chess set. I don't know. Well, no, they just kept making more of those. But
That would be so cool though. Giant ham sandwich Lego gift with purchase. We want this.
Yes, we do.
And also some more side characters that actually have importance to the show. That would be fantastic.
Like, oh, I don't know. Let me pull out the list. Oh, wait. That's not a list. It's a book. It's a book of characters that we don't have.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I will say, one really quick thing is that I know a lot of people will say, kids aren't going to care about that. They're not that detail oriented. I can say when I was like the target demographic age, like 7, 8-ish, I noticed the characters that were missing in the sets, and I was like, where are these? I want to buy these. Garmadon's four-armed mech, a bunch like Dr. Julian. I was like, where are these characters? I want to play with them. Where are they? I built my own Garmadon's four-armed mech that looked nothing like it because they didn't have a set of that. Like
waiting 3 years for Misako.
Pain.
Pain. Most people who say that are people who don't have kids.
What about the kids aren't going to notice that?
The detail oriented not going to notice that?
Yeah.
How to say you don't have kids without saying it?
Oh my God. But yeah, no, definitely. I think kids are a lot more detail oriented than people give them credit for. Because I know I was at least. And I noticed when little features were missing, how the original Samurai X, there was one shot where Cole jumps on its arm and Nia shoots the hand off of it.
Yeah.
When I was little and I got the Samurai X set, I was like, where, why doesn't the hand shoot? I tried to build it myself, failed miserably, but still, I noticed
you can remove the hand and pretend it does.
I guess so, yeah, but little me was like, I'm gonna do a whole flipping,
spring-loaded rocket.
That would be cool. That'd have to be so big, though. So, here's the question. What is the backstory behind your username?
Huh. I don't know if I've ever... I'm pretty sure I've shared this, but, I don't know if it was ever, well available. So, it's basically taking an older username to make it a little bit more marketable. Back in elementary school, I had a bunch of friends who played Clem Penguin.
Okay.
And a lot of them had the name Pen, because Penguin, in the names of their usernames or whatever. So I invented the character or the username PenKid11. Still use it on Twitter as my handle because the PenPlays handle is still currently occupied by an active account for 5 years and should be vacated for my use. Elon, come out for me. This is the one thing I need from you, okay? Anyways.
Justice for Pen. Come on.
As time went on, it's like, okay, I'm an adult now, still using PenKid. For the sake of a bit more of a marketable name, I decided to keep... Because people were already referring to me as Pen, because that was in the username already. So it just became PenPlays. And the idea was that it was going to be... I wanted it to be a name where I could do anything with it. So if I wanted to play video games, it could have the PenPlays name. If I wanted to build with Lego, I could do that. If I wanted to show off Transformers, it makes sense. I can...
That's
I'm
really
not
clever.
I'm not Pen Bricks or Pen Blocks or Pen Figs or Pen Studios or Pen Productions or whatever completely overused name that everybody's using.
Yeah.
No offense to all y'all with bricks in your name, but
Yeah.
you know, if it works, it works.
Totally.
That's just how it rolls.
I'm guilty of doing that because Doodle and Bricks, I literally took the two most common things from the Lego and art community usernames and just shoved them together.
See, I will be completely honest with you. I see very few Doodle people with Doodle in their name, personally.
Really?
So the combination of the two is unique enough where it's like, oh, okay. But, you know.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Even though it has bricks in it, there's a point where it's like, okay, the combination is seems deviant enough where I could live with it. Like, Brickatect, the YouTuber, is another one where it's like, who would ever think of a name like that?
It's a clever twist
that's
on
good.
it.
That's good. But then, everybody wants to be M&R Productions and have something Productions or any of the Brick Filmer Studios people and act like they're a whole group of people working on these things.
The ironic thing is when they do become a whole group of people.
Which, all the power to them. Very proud of them. We all can't be Forest Fire, though. I'm sorry. That spot has been taken.
Speaking of him, I didn't realize that he made the Duck song until like a couple months ago.
Neither did I. I had no idea. Like, see, I hadn't actually heard, I missed the Duck song era. Like, that was after my time. And then I heard my brother singing it with my sisters, who were just singing it ironically in their adult and teenage ages, because they were that age. And I'm like, wait, what? And I looked it up, and I was like, oh, it's this little fun little thing. And I looked at the username, and I'm like, that's Forest Fire. What? Like, wait a minute. And then I'm like, is this dude even around anymore? And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's raking it in is what he's doing.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like such a proud moment, I think, for just the entire Lego community. It's like, yeah, that came from us.
That's our fault. We did
exactly.
We did that.
Oh boy.
Another go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that was just a shock. Like, I feel like that should be at like the very bottom of Lego community iceberg or something.
Absolutely, yes. Forest Fire made the Duck song. Another one of those pop culture moments of like, oh wow, like this is crazy. It's like after so many MacGuffins that Lego has done over the years, and when everybody talks about like pop culture weaponry and such, where it's like they're super powerful, it's like, okay, are they going to mention the Kregel or whatever because of how that was portrayed? But then you never do. But you see the golden weapons constantly, and when there was this one tweet that was going around where it's like, you can only pick 4 of these, which one are you choosing? And you listed like all of like the super god powered weapons and items in all of these stories, and it's like, okay, you have the Infinity Gauntlet here, you got Luke Skywalker's lightsaber here, and you got the Ring of Power, and then you have the freaking golden weapons. It's like, wow, we've transcended finally.
We've become ingrained in pop culture. Same with memes and stuff like that as well.
Well, you see the Zane finding out he's a robot thing all the time now.
Yes.
Like there was a questionnaire where it's like, it was saying like the perspective of someone who is a straight person who does not want to admit that they aren't straight. And there was all these options that you could choose there that were read like you're saying that you aren't, but because of the double negatives you are. And so it's this whole list, and Zane's dropping the blueprint. Is like, no, it can't be. No.
Oh God, that's hilarious.
It's stuff on that level where it's like, once we've hit that moment, you're just, because you don't see that a lot with the Lego movie. You're like, oh, everything is awesome. You know, Batman movie being one of the best interpretations of Batman that isn't from someone who isn't a Snyder cultist. But Ninjago's the one. And I love it.
It really is.
I love it.
And like, yeah, sorry.
I lost my train of thought. You go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, like when it comes to like, the Zane being a robot thing, like if I ever talk to somebody who's not into Lego at all and I mention I like Ninjago, they're like, "Oh yeah, like I used to watch that show, but like the only thing I remember is that Zane was a robot, I think." Like everybody remembers that, and that's specifically.
Well, the reason why is cuz that's the whole idea that this character that you fall in love with is like, wait, they're a robot? Like you the way that it's portrayed is such an emotional moment because of how like his entire world is turned upside down, and the way that Brett Miller just delivers those lines is just wow. But then you get the whole, oh, he's a little funny quirky, and then he has his moment where he turns on the memory switch, and you don't forget that episode. You just see, you get the revelation of Zane being a robot. You get the flashback, which is one of the most beautiful pieces of Ninjago music and scenery in the entire franchise.
God, I was about to say that whole episode.
It's
the music.
It's up there with Cole's parents dancing in the core shorts.
I actually don't remember that theme.
A scene, not the theme specifically. Well, I mean, it just plays Lily's theme in the background, which is a very pretty theme.
Yeah.
But with TikTok, though, the episode of Ninjago, that was the TikTok? I forget. I think it is. But that was the one where they really hammered in hard the Falcons theme too. So you're getting the whole tune just throughout the entirety of it, and then you're like, okay, this is ingrained in my brain. What else can they do with it? Zane's flashback is it with the melancholy, and it just hits hard, so good. And then on top of that, you get, this is the first time that a ninja reaches their true potential. To cap off the episode, it's this very triumphant, very powerful moment of like, this is what this is. Like they really, it's so good. That episode is top tier.
It is amazing. It's one of those episodes that just stays ingrained in your mind forever. Like it's wild.
It's one of those ones where everybody who was watching Ninjago as it was premiering remembers because of all that it did.
Yeah.
But that was very much that group of people who fell off after season 2 ended because they thought that the series ended.
Yeah.
But then also it's the end of the 3-year cycle. They're getting into their teen years. They kind of forget Lego exists at that point, and then they find out Ninjago's been going on for 12 years.
I love telling people that.
And it's on Netflix? Yo, no way!
Yeah, no, I love telling people that. They're like, it's still going? Really? What? And like, yeah, it's so fun to watch their reactions. And it's like, yeah, I've been here the whole time.
What's been really interesting, too, since we've exited the 3-year cycle of the Wild Brain era stuff, is that because of how the series is presented on Netflix, because Netflix is the reason why Ninjago is here today.
Really? You think so?
I don't think so.
You know so?
I know so. Like, without it being specifically on Netflix, it would not have survived.
Because it made it available for like wider audiences?
That's correct. That was at a time where it was only Netflix. So everybody had Netflix.
Okay.
So your first 2 seasons are on there with the pilots. So it's just amazing how far that's come in that regard with that accessibility. So when Netflix also stops at season 2 and doesn't update for 4 years, people think Ninjago ended because they watched it on Netflix first as opposed to Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
So when they go into the store and will go, why are there ghosts? I want more snakes. Where are the snakes? Because they think that that's current.
Yeah.
So Lego goes around and is like, oh, we can't do that. We can't do the same thing again. So they create the Hands of Time way with the Vermilion, which is not even remotely what people are asking for. But apparently stems from an idea that was initially going to be what the basis of the movie was based off of. But that's beside the point.
Yeah. The movie.
But then what happened was that Hands of Time came out, and then they decided to put everything on Netflix again, seasons 3 through 7, and Day of the Departed, and then suddenly everybody's caught up on Ninjago at this point. And they're like, "So where's the ghost sets?"
Oh,
3 years too late, and then the Ninjago movie drops, and everybody's on the high. So people end up going and watching Ninjago on Netflix because they watched the movie and realize that it's just a little bit better. But
and they're like, what the hell? Why they look different? What?
No, but what's amazing about it too is that when they decided to change the characters that way as well, they gave lore reason. It's like, oh, it's been a year, we're older. That
Yeah,
makes
and
sense.
also
Everything that happened to
timeline
them is all
changes.
logical stuff. The timeline thing, from what I've heard, is that's bogus. But people like to believe that because like there's no way that they could change their appearances that much. Yeah, they can. Like the whole
Yeah,
joke
they
at the
can.
beginning is like, oh, what if we change? It's like that's not talking about a time change. It's just them being goofy.
The only change that I think isn't quite as feasible is Jay's hair change, which I'm happy with, but still, like that's the hardest one to believe. All the others,
I
yeah,
mean,
but Jay's
he
like,
already had wavy hair to begin with, so if he grew it out enough and just left it messy, it could look like that. Maybe
yeah,
it just
true, but
grows
I
when
don't
it
know where
gets
the
longer.
freckles came from. The sun, I
The
guess,
sun, it can happen.
and I guess his eyebrow
People can
just
grow.
grew back.
Yeah, exactly. Clearly, it was cosmetic. There you go. Everything can be excused. You can grow a mole over time. You can grow freckles over time. You can't grow
Right.
a band-aid over time, Kai.
The permanent band-aid.
But no, I theorize it's like, okay, either he thinks he looks cool, or he doesn't want to admit to Sensei that he has a piercing, which is
Or
very
he
in
just,
character of him.
he wants to feel like an anime character, so he just always leaves it on.
Or it's a situation where it's like he got a piercing, and it's like, oh wait a minute. He wants to hide he realizes I shouldn't have done this and keeps the earring out and then keeps the bandage over his forehead to hide the hole that was made there. Just like, oh, I didn't do anything.
God.
It's okay.
That's a good
Which
one.
is-
I like that.
I feel that that's in character of him. It's just like, yeah, I'm totally going to do this. And he does it. I'm like, oh no, wait a minute.
Oh, shit.
Oh no. But when the thing with Netflix specifically is that, and this is a very fresh thing now that the entire franchise is on there, is that people who are signing on to Netflix and looking for kid shows have two different Ninjagos to choose from.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And whether you like it or not, there are Ninjago fans now who started with the Wild Brain stuff.
That's so weird to think about.
And
That's
that
so weird.
is part of the reason why Secrets of Forbidden Spinjitzu is so expensive in the aftermarket. Is because that's the start of Ninjago, right? So everybody wants them.
I see.
Lloyd's Titan Mech is the only way to get that version of Lloyd. There is no other set or magazine pack that includes that hood.
Oh, the hood. Okay, I was gonna say
With the
because
print.
there's
With the print.
Yeah.
With the print. So, like, again, like, there's so much exclusivity there because, they did a really great job balancing the figures and such, that this happened. And it's so interesting to see that this happened, but it's also really cool too because they basically have like a whole entire year's worth of budget in that one wave. That wave, despite what people felt at the time, that wave is amazing.
It's pretty good. It's not my favorite, but it's pretty solid, I'd say.
It's definitely one of the stronger ones. I think it's funny. We look at Sons of Garmadon with such rose-tinted glasses. Those sets are very mid.
Thank you for saying that, because everybody keeps praising it. And while the season is pretty good, the sets
season
are
is
so boring.
amazing.
Except for Kilo's motorbike and Samurai X's mech. I cannot tell you the regret I have for never getting that.
That's
and I
the least
wanted
favorite set
it.
of the whole entire wave.
God, yeah.
It's literally a floor with a handlebar engine and a big back wheel. It's not as cool as it looks, but it's got Kilo in it. Again, remember we're talking about the appeal of the minifigure. That's one of those sets where it's like, okay, it's got Kilo in it. Oh, only got Jay in that one set, and it's like that set goes for tons of money right now because both of them are in it.
True,
But it's not a good set.
But I mean, it has the Samurai X mech, which is a decent mech.
It's not a good mech.
It's not a good one, but it's alright.
It's
I like
not
the
a
set,
good
but I
mech.
get what you're saying.
It's visually cool. It is so stiff. It is.
Is it?
It's super stiff. But honestly, like all of 2018 for me, like that was a very lull period with the sets for me for Ninjago. I do not like the hunted sets either.
What?
Like, yeah.
Okay.
So here's the deal. Destiny's Wing is great, $20 set. Absolutely love that. The Throne Room Showdown, more like it and more cam. That's what we love about it. The Oni Titan is a very excellent creature. It is at just the right size it needed to be. It should not have been bigger. It should not have been smaller. Only thing is that it's just a big giant rock thing. But it's a great display piece, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But what's it called? Stormbringer? Wasn't it?
I've heard that, but I feel like that belongs to a different dragon, but I can't remember.
See, I'm thinking of Griefbringer from Master of the Mountain, which means it's time to go to Brickset. Yay! I'm pretty sure Storm's something, right?
Probably. I don't remember, honestly.
Here we go.
Can I tell you one pet peeve I have with Lego
Sure.
sites? And it's how flipping precise you have to be with what you type in with them. I don't know what it is. It's like Bricklink, Brickset. You gotta be so specific.
Brickset has changed to a point where if I do look up Garmadon, I'm going to get minifigure results, the sets with his name in the middle of it, but I'll also get Sons of Garmadon too. I don't have to write Sons of first.
Okay.
But then,
good.
like, if I'm wanting to write or look for a set that has a dash in the middle of it, and I don't remember that has a dash in it, and I put a space there instead, it acts like it doesn't exist.
I know, it's so weird. Anyways, sorry.
It is Stormbringer.
Okay.
I like that dragon. It's very cool. It's very chunky. I don't think it's definitely not a bad dragon, but it's not one of the better dragons either. It's very middle ground. Firstborn, I love what they did with her. I hate the vinyl wings on her. I hate them. I hate the flail tails. The tails that flick. I hate them. I hate them so much because I can't pose them. And when I want to put them in an active pose, I have to make it just like sag right there, or break it off, and act like it's attached. But with Firstborn, though, there's a lot of visual identity that is really excellently captured with it. There's just better dragons.
That's fair.
The biggest disappointment for me in that whole entire something was the Dieselnot.
What? This thing's beautiful. I love it so much. What do you not like about it?
Big old rolling turd, my friend.
Why? Okay, tell me. I'm interested.
So you're expecting this large, like, caravan base station thing that has room for tons of stuff inside it, a whole bunch of, like, armor storage and that kind of stuff. And, it split in the show. I don't expect it to do that, but, that's cool that it did. Instead, what I got was a big filled out block with a single person cockpit that can easily fit 5 if you made it that way, a box on the top that has nothing in it, a jail cell that just kind of lingers in the back there, and there's like a turret at the top of it and on the sides, and it's just like, okay, there's a lot of great areas for my characters to stand. What does it do? It rolls.
It exists.
Exactly. So, I honestly only recently, within the past year and a half, built all of the Sons of Garmadon 100 sets because I'm really behind.
Because you got them when they released, right?
I got them when they released.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I remember seeing your Q&A video. If you guys don't know, this man has a serious backlog.
And it's only gotten worse.
Oh no.
Well, actually, I gotta say, I've gotten a lot better on it. Because, like, I've been, planning on building the Sons of Garmadon sets since, 2019. Because I've had them since then. I built them within the past year and a half. And,
boy.
I think that I might have hyped them up. Because, these sets are mid at best. The Dieselnot, I still have it built because I don't have, a spot to, store it when I'm done having it on display. Plus, I want to have the characters out, too. So I actually have it parked behind the dragon pit, so you can't see it.
You get the shame corner.
It's just hiding back there, so it's like I'm looking at my shelf right now, and I can see, a little wheel on the side of the turret at the top of it. But, I have the dragon pit in front of it, which, that as a set, is such an excellent concept. It lives up to every single aspect of it. I just don't think it's cool.
It's
a cool gladiator pit. It's got a cool little forge. It's got a jail cell you can escape from. It's little audience areas and such. It's cool. It's great. I would have preferred some sort of mighty castle or something, but
I agree.
It's a dragon hunting season. I get it.
I'm not a huge fan of the dragon pit. I feel like it needed to be a bit bigger and have some kind of roll cage, cage over the top of it. Just like have it or something.
I do think it's big enough, but my preference would have been something else. I don't know what it would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of that's just cool.
I can see what you're saying with the diesel knot, though. Like, I definitely do wish it had, like, more space, especially compared to what they see in the show. The only reason I can forgive it for not is because it does have a lot of points where you can clip characters on around the sides, and the characters as well, you know, the dragon hunters are the kind of characters that would just hold on to the side of it as it was going.
True.
So I can kind of forgive it for that, but I do agree there's a lot of missed opportunities. As well, at the time when it came out, they were still using those modified spring-loaded launchers that had the grapple hook on the end of it. They should have used that. Like, just saying.
Yeah, I think that's it didn't it?
So what?
Didn't they use the grapple hooks? No, they didn't.
They used just a normal spring-loaded launcher, which is so not good, in my opinion.
I mean, they're all meant to be like crossbows. So I kind of get it, as opposed to grapple hooks, but you know.
In the show, they were grapple hooks, though, so...
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in those episodes that they did that they could have done.
Yeah.
Like the smaller Dragon Hunter vehicle.
Oh, God, that would have been
cool. I want it real bad.
Yeah.
Or make it so that the Destiny's Wing can be modified into its alternate version or something. I don't know.
That would be cool. I'm a big stickler for, like, show accuracy. So, while I love Ninjago, it does pain me because it's not always the best when it comes to show accuracy.
Well, it's sets first. That's how they're designed. So
exactly. So.
It makes sense, but then when the show deliberately deviates from it, but they've gotten a lot better about it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, they have.
Yeah, where it's like making sure that everything that's in the sets actually gets a moment. Like Monkey Kid's just been great about at least giving at least 5 seconds to every set that exists in the line.
Exactly.
Even though it might just be 5 seconds.
Totally. Like just showing a 2-second image of like the Dragon Jet and then never again and stuff like that.
Yep. Or, you know, the what's another one? Piggy's Noodle Tank. Which great scene. Love the Gurren Lagann reference. I'm good. That's all I needed from it.
Totally.
But yeah, like that was the last time that I ever felt Ninjago really felt like it was starting to stagnate product wise.
Really?
Because Legacy happened right after and completely revitalized the whole theme. Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu happened after that. Prime Empire and Master of the Mountain might be the peak year for me, personally, just because of how outrageous and how cool those sets are. Even though they might not be the best sets in the world. The only season I can think of sets specifically that have been is Seabound.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
We were really lost in the glow of how amazing that season was for when the set showed up, and the fact that, oh my gosh, everybody's actually in these sets except for Gripe, but that's my only gripe. But I have not built Jay's the scuba, the jet, whatever, the car that has the scuba vehicle or whatever. So I can't speak for that, though it looks pretty neat. Lloyd's Mech's a mech. What was it? The Hydro Bounty is very visually cool, but it's very underutilized, I feel. Like, you could have a living space inside the main part of it, and then, like, store them away to fit the submarines inside it, too. But, like, boost the price maybe a little bit. It's cool. It's got, like, the mech on the front. Nia's Water Dragon is an absolute disappointment.
Yeah, it's not great.
But it's not as big of a disappointment as the Temple of the Endless Sea.
Oh, God, don't. And Wajira, Jesus, man. That was not great.
I have a theory about why Wojira is included in there.
Okay.
The Fire Fang is not everybody's favorite set. I remember going to Walmart and Target and seeing it on serious discount because nobody was picking it up. Or so I assume. And the idea is like, okay, we're making another big snake again. Let's pair it in a big set. And so that way it gives them a reason to buy the set in case they don't want the dragon and they want the castle instead. And it's like, it's not that people don't want the big snake. It's that they actually want a snake that's big.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they want. I want a Lego Creator level Great Devourer, please.
Yes, I feel like Lego hasn't really, or Ninjago hasn't had a great track record of making good big snakes. Like, they haven't been too great with that.
They have the power. Heck, they can grab a guy from Creator and go, hey, can you make this for us real quick?
Yeah.
Because the creator guys are all over the place. They're in Friends, they're in Classic, they're in Creator, they're in City. They're doing everything right now. So it's not like they aren't available. But then that kind of goes in that pool of, okay, it's a villain set, and those apparently, so people tell me, don't sell well. And I'm like, no, it's because the sets that they're the villain sets that we get are bad. That's why.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, we all got Street Race of Snake Jaguar because it had Zane's bike in it, okay? And Mystery was in it too, but that's beside the point. But then it's like Killer versus Samurai X. That thing went on sale. That thing ended up on sale and got heavily discounted too, just because it's like $60 for, again, a plank on wheels that has an engine decor on the front of it.
I love the way you put that.
It's what it is. It's funny that it includes skateboards as roller skates for Kilo in it, but it literally just feels like a big skateboard itself.
That's funny.
Because he stands in the vehicle, which is kind of a bummer too, because Roadhog in Overwatch has a full-on bike that he fits in perfectly.
Yeah.
We have the technology.
We have it.
But I could go on for hours about that whole villain thing. It's like, okay,
totally.
The reason why the villain sets don't move is because they look kind of and when they do move, it's because there's often a good minifigure in it too. Like the Skybound jet one, the pirate jet thing, that thing sold amazing because it looked cool.
Yes, and then, that thing was awesome. The Misfortune's Keep, right? Yeah.
The little jet. Yeah? The $20
the little
one.
Oh, you mean Flintlock's jet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did that sell well, really?
I remember it. From what I've been able to gather, it's just a personal perspective on it. I never saw it on sale.
That's good.
Because it's funny because, like, despite the fact that I worked at a Lego store, it's like I would still go to, like, Walmart and Target to kind of, like, hone what's working and what's not. Because, it's a Lego store. People are going to buy stuff that normally doesn't sell just because they're at a Lego store.
Yeah.
So, Sky Shark, that's what it was called.
Sky Shark, that's it.
Yes. And then you have sets like Ninja Bike Chase, where it's like, Nia's got a motorcycle in there. So it's like, what is this?
Yeah,
it's like, this is a $7 motorcycle right here. I don't want to spend $20 on that. Oh, she doesn't even have an Air Jitsu outfit. Okay, never mind then.
Oh God. Yeah, that's rough.
I'm fully under the impression that the reason why Nia is forced to be included in sets with either Jay, Kai, or Lloyd is because they're under the impression that she doesn't sell herself.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that Throne Room Showdown is one of the best-selling, arguably one of the most acclaimed sets in the entirety of the hunted sets, and then the Water Strider by far is one of the most beloved mechs from Ninjago movie because it was only $30.
That was a good one.
However, they could have charged $50 for that beast.
Yeah, I got that set around the time it came out. I was visiting Germany, and I got it in a Legoland Discovery Center, and I seem to remember I paid €60 for that. Yeah, that was.
Well, that might have been because you went to a Legoland.
Yeah, I think that's why. But I thought that's what it was worth, and then a few years later, I look and I was like, "This one for $30? God damn it!" But yeah, I was gonna say that I found it interesting about what you were saying about like the Hunted and Sons of Garmadon waves, because I've never had a dark age, but I've had what I like to call a dim age, where Lego was still part of my life and like I still liked it, but it wasn't the primary thing, right? Like I had other things that I focused on more, and I only had a few sets out and stuff. But I kind of started to get thrown back into it around the Hunted season and stuff like that, because I think I was able to find the seasons finally, because I always had the thing where, Netflix was pretty slow to add the newest seasons, so I was like, well, I can't watch these. Where are they? So
you weren't all invested in it, because that's the thing. You aren't the only one who was like that, though. Because we're talking about all those people that thought that Ninjago fell off the face of the earth and it ended.
Yeah.
It's like that's because they were slow to the uptake.
Exactly.
I don't think Lego realized the benefit of Netflix, which, as far as I understand, they realize it now, and they're really on top of it now, after the way that Cartoon Network treated them. Which,
Right.
by the way,
'Cause
the fact that they like the fact that Lego can upload Ninjago to YouTube from the get go means that the Cartoon Network deal doesn't exist anymore. So
yeah, that's fair.
happy day.
But yeah, no, that's interesting. But yeah, so I had that same problem where I couldn't keep up with it. Like I knew it was still going, and I was trying to avoid spoilers, but like for like 2 years I wouldn't watch it just because I couldn't. And like it wasn't on the TV and stuff, and we didn't even really use the TV, and it would be in like another language anyways. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just kind of like had that dim age, but then I got back into it around like heavily around Hunted and stuff like that. And Hunted, the sets and the season has to be like one of my favorites overall.
See, I was in a very weird time in 2018 because at that point, like, I was really like burnt out from Ninjago. Kind of, it felt like it was rehashing itself. And like, as much as I loved Skybound, as much as I did, like, I did not watch it immediately. I caught it off
Okay.
of like I caught it when it aired a little while after, but because of that kind of disinterest and the distracted time that it was, I didn't end up watching like uh any like I didn't watch Hands of Time immediately, didn't watch Day of the Departed immediately. It just wasn't of interest to me. And then I'm like, okay, well, I've seen the cool sets from these little biker gang sets, and I got well, I'll tell that later. I had a reason to follow Sons of Garmadon that I had both the fortune and misfortune to know that encouraged me to watch it. And when so I caught up, and then I started watching it. What ended up happening was that some region was getting it in English weekly, and it was on a day where I remember it was a day of work that I always dreaded because it was like a hardcore truck day at another job that I was at. So I always kind of dreaded waking up that day. But during that window of time, I was like, it's Sons of Garmadon day. I have a reason to get through this fast and go home. And watching it escalate, and when it finally hit Game of Masks, I was like, I cannot believe this is the kid show. And this was my Star Wars to Mando moment. This was Sons of Garmadon just completely reignited my obsession, and I was in love, and that just completely changed everything about how I perceived that show. And then of course the writers who made it happen quit after that. Well, not quit. They moved on. They moved on.
Yeah.
Bigger and brighter features doing Star Trek, and they worked with Guillermo del Toro for a while too. They did
on the
Troll Hunters.
Pinocchio movie?
No, they did Troll Hunters.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, which I highly recommend that show, by the way. At least the Troll Hunters like series proper. There's a whole like franchise of stories there, but at least the Troll Hunters one I can recommend.
I watched it years ago when that came out, and then got disinterested. I was like uninterested after a while, but I should.
The show, like I had the luxury of watching the whole entirety of just Troll Hunters as a whole. Having the whole thing there, because I know that it released in like seasons, helps a lot, a lot. Yeah. But then Three Below, and then the Wizard one I haven't watched. Well, I've watched Three Below, and that was okay. It was good.
Yeah.
Great cast, very strange, but very Guillermo del Toro strange, and that's good.
Okay.
But yeah, but the Hegemans kind of took Guillermo's ideas and wrote the show basically.
That's cool. I should catch up with that.
I rolled into that show after my high on the 2018 Ninjago sets, knowing that okay, I was gonna get into something good.
That's so cool. Yeah, like I mean, I know Sons of Garmadon is probably like one of the most, if not the most popular season of Ninjago, and
Absolutely.
I find it really interesting because if I'm being completely honest, I mean, I got a lot of Lego hot takes and Ninjago ones, but this is just one of mine. I don't like Sons of Garmadon that much. Like, I mean, I've warmed up to it in recent years, and I like the maturity of it now and see why people like it. But yeah,
on its own, it's okay. Add Hunted to it, it's better.
Yes.
Neither of the seasons, like everybody's like, or like either or. It's like you really can't have either without the other. It's one whole storyline, and that was also something that I was privy of as well, as that both of the seasons were going to be the same storyline, and that kind of encouraged me to go, let's see how this turns out, because I've never done that. They haven't done that in years. So
yeah.
I
I like it more now, and I see why people like it. But also Harumi isn't my favorite villain overall. Like, I mean, I like her more now, and I can get it. But I always thought she was kind of petty. Like, I mentioned this in one of the previous episodes with Superstar Rock and Jay. But like, she always felt petty because it's like, oh, you didn't save my family out of the like millions of families in the city, you know, and like Lloyd didn't even know she existed. But
Still
yeah, I can.
Still a better argument than I want to be the Green Ninja, meh. The end
Wait, what
all
do you
be
mean?
all greatest villain in the entire franchise, Moro, so people say.
True. I don't like Mora that much either because of that
Moro is
reason.
my least favorite villain. Like,
I
I
don't
love,
blame you.
I don't think there is any villain. Like, I would rank most of the Ninjago City crooks over Moro at this point. Like,
Oh God.
and they're like the mechanic, absolutely. He's got more development than Moro ever had. And he's not like,
True.
I'm just an edgy teenager who's a ghost and none of you understand me. Meh. I
He's
want
the
to be the Green Ninja,
depiction-
so meh.
He's the depiction of a moody teenager.
Which is the age everybody was when that season came out, which is
And
why.
that's why he's so popular.
And that's why he's so popular. It's
I remember
literally
seeing
it's Green It's the green. It's Lloyd is the Green Ninja too. Everybody is like, or a ride or die Ninjago because I can be the Green Ninja too because the Green Ninja is an 8-year-old.
Yeah. It's like
Just right there.
it's like
Perfect. Lightning in a bottle.
it's like bringing in the like edgy version of the main character, and then everyone's like, "Oh, he's so hot." I saw a great meme which was like,
Yeah.
somebody was saying something about like how they thought like Moro brought in a bunch of like the female fans into Ninjago at first, and I thought that was just so like stupidly funny. I was like, what? Really? Like, it was just making fun of that basically. But
Yeah.
of course I don't really think that's why, but it was just a funny thing, like the edgy version of the main character.
Mm-hmm. Possess Lloyd.
Exactly.
Give us the Moro Dragon, God bless its soul.
That was interesting. I wasn't huge on that set, but
Do you have it?
no.
That would explain it.
Okay. If I ever get my hands on it, then I'll reconsider it.
I will say, go in expecting a 2010 to 2015 build. It's still great.
Fair.
Though.
Fair.
It's kind of hard to beat some of the dragons we're getting today. And it's got fabric wings. We love to see it.
True. Oh, okay, wait. One thing that I find really interesting. So, you know, Ninjago has a lot of plot holes, right? One that I find incredibly funny, like just a really glaring one, is Lloyd and Harumi are pretty much the same age when Harumi's parents die, right? Mm-hmm. Then Lloyd ages up with, you know, the tea, I forgot what it was called. And then, you know, we fast forward to Sons of Garmadon, and suddenly Harumi is, I think, just like a year younger than him. And it's like, how'd that work? I thought Lloyd got aged up by a lot. And I just
thing
always...
is that
yeah.
mentally, Lloyd is younger than she is.
True.
Technically.
But
So
I meant, like,
what's going on is more of a situation where it's like he got pubertied first. And then when Harumi was more of a natural progression. Because there's like a good 2 or 3 years there.
True, but I mean, like, yeah, mentally the age, but still, like, physically, they're shown to be pretty much the same age, and it's just kind of weird.
Well, that was a design choice that they made. That's why they don't have ages.
Of course. I always make this joke.
Older teenagers. They're still older teenagers.
Exactly. Except for when Wu called Kaya the young adult. That was weird.
Some people refer to the teenagers as that.
True. I was gonna say, I always have this joke that like Harumi was climbing in the vents of the comic book shop when they threw the tea, and that's how they're the same age. Just happened to be there.
She's been everywhere, right?
True.
She's been everywhere, right?
She was everywhere even before she was the villain.
Before we even knew. She was pulling the strings the whole time.
My parents died and I lost my childhood. God damn you.
It's all your fault.
God, yeah.
She's like a little kid in the vents with the kitchen knife. It's just like, I'm gonna get him, because she has no plans. It's like, oh, you're just gonna end up because like he ruined my life.
Oh God. One thing that I do understand about Harumi being more petty though is that happened when she was a kid, and then she never, you know, had proper parents, I guess, to help her through that, so she never mentally matured enough to understand it, which I think is actually kind of interesting now.
Which is honestly the same thing with Moro too. He died before he could.
True. Yeah, but he was also still like living more when he was a ghost. He was dead.
But the
but,
problem
like,
is that he's stuck the way he was though, because he's a
Right.
ghost. It's permanent.
True.
He's permanently like in that fog, which of course he does learn at the end.
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea.
Yeah, and I could go on for hours about Ninjago stuff. Okay, here's a question I wanted to know. So, you said that, things were, like, you didn't really have much judgment at all when you were a teen with Lego. But what do people say now when you tell them about your Lego passion? Or, like, you show them, like, all this, like, your place and, like, the sets you have or things like that?
I tend not to show my collection off, just because, like, I don't want to open with that.
Yeah.
Because, there's a difference between a person who enjoys something and a fanatic. And, you don't want to go like, boom, I'm a fan. But people tend to be cool with it just because of the fact being a collector of anything has become so generally accepted. Because, people would, long ages ago would collect certain books or collect stamps and the like. And they just, in the past decade, they've kind of figured out that, okay, well, people can do that with toys too. As a mental health thing even too. It's like, so it's never really, there's never any judgment. If they feel opinion about another brand, then they go, why Lego? And it's like, sure, and it's valid, but not too much judgment.
Right.
No,
because they think it's a kid's toy, a lot of them at first, and then you're like, well, actually, and then
but then
you
they get it
whole
because it's
spiel,
like
right?
everybody knows, oh, they have Star Wars and they have Marvel superheroes. I get it, even though it's not the stuff I collect mostly. They don't need to know that.
Exactly.
Which I do have Star Wars and some Marvel, but
yeah, you use that to like pad it a little bit more, so they're like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
And then it's like, oh, so the resale value of this thing, like they'll talk about, they say, oh, I have this Lego set when I was a kid, and I'm like, I wonder if I can get it again. And it's like, what was it? You know where this is going. Some Star Wars set, this. I'm like, I'm like intrigued, and I just kind of swallow, take a big gulp, and go, so that set goes for about $400 now. Like, huh? It's this big. I'm like, yes, I know it's that big. It also included this guy in it, and they've only made him once.
Yeah. Yeah, good luck, guys. Good luck trying to buy those again.
Good luck. Hopefully they remake it in the future.
Oh my god, that must be so painful. Especially, I mean, like, Star Wars, they do remake the sets, and, like, with the ATT, I think it is, that's a good one, but, like, what was it, like the ATOT with Dropship? Like, my god, if somebody had that, and they're like, man, I'd like to buy that again. Like, sure, if you want to spend your life savings on that.
We're never going to get one of those again.
Nah.
That's the worst part too. The ATOT is never going to happen again, unless they decide to do like medium scale sets, which I could go on for hours about. But yeah,
how come they're not making one again? You think?
So why invest that kind of money in a drop ship when you can use that money to make a Republic gunship, and can just focus on that instead? Or why do something like the ATOT where it just carries troopers when you could do the ATTE? At any given moment, like, it would be smarter for them to do ATTEs and Republic gunships every 3 years than decide to do an ATOT and dropship set. Even though
I see,
we would love that.
Absolutely. I'm not even that much of a Star Wars fan like that, but I would love that set, man. That looks so cool.
Mm-hmm. Any of the UCS like sets as well that they haven't made in years, like, I want a Vader's TIE Advance. I want a new X-Wing because I missed out on that. I would love to have the Ewok Village, just literally repackage it and resell it for maybe $50 more. I don't mind. I'm all for that. Stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So another thing, you're part of a group called Masters of Breakjitsu, right?
Mm-hmm.
So two of the people who've already been on are part of it, so they've kind of given a description of it. But just for anybody who maybe hasn't seen those episodes, what is Masters of Breakjitsu and what do you guys do?
So Masters of Breakjitsu is a registered LEGO fan media. Basically, LEGO has verified someone who is on our team, and we work as a community to basically represent LEGO in a way. Our main focus is action themes like Ninjago and Monkey Kid, though we do branch out upon occasion depending on what they offer us, because they tend to vary offers between whoever is involved in that kind of stuff. Though we make a general content on YouTube, We run a TikTok as well, and some of those videos do straggle over into YouTube and Instagram as well. It's just kind of like a group of Ninjago fans who are making a bunch of Lego entertainment media, basically.
All right. And how did you end up joining Masters?
Mine's an interesting story.
All right.
So Braden, the head Ninja Whip, the head of Masters of Jiu-Jitsu, he is the ambassador for it. So he's the guy that talks directly to the people who are in LAN to help make sure that everything works out and works according to what Lego would like. He was asked to start a community to represent Ninjago, and that team needed moderators. At the time, that was myself, and so the group that Braden went to initially spurred from the documentary that he did. So he went to people who were involved in that project, but the only one in that group who is available to potentially partake is a now controversial figure in the Ninjago community, the Marvelous Jen. And then I had already been friends with Braden before, online friends. So he came to me as well to see if I was interested in the position, and we kind of worked on it from there. Over time, it became apparent that it was just going to be more me and Braden who would be putting in development effort into Masters. So a decision was made to basically, it would be a thing that he and I would spearhead. And eventually we added on people like Legends of Ninjago, Chris, and then a couple other people in the community. And over time, some people have left the group. Some people, just due to lack of interaction making the content and such, we did let another person go as well. Over that time also, the Marvelous Jen was removed from being associated with Masters of Jiu-Jitsu as well. Well over a year ago. But over time, additions like him and removals of other people over time have had MOB evolve in a way that we feel we are starting to head in a right direction, and I'm really proud of what we've managed to develop and how everyone who's involved, whatever they put input into, still holds up today.
Wow, that's fantastic. All right, thank you so much.
It's been a bit of a learning experience myself too. So
absolutely. Okay, so do you have any white whale Lego sets, like ones that you've been wanting to get for ages but just have not been able to?
That's a very good question. Because there's a lot of sets that I love that I don't have, but I don't think there really is like one that's like, oh my gosh, why did I miss out on this? Why don't I have it? Because a lot of the sets that I feel that way happened to release during the time that I worked, and I ended up with them. So I'm going to consult Brickset because I've been very good about keeping my wants and haves cataloged. So let me change this up here because I know that if it's anything, it's going to be a big set. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I think I have an idea for one, and it's not actually a big set. But let me look here real quickly just to make sure here.
Sure thing.
I take back what I said about it being a big set. My white whale is an RGJ.
NRGJ. Okay.
Yes, because I live with this mentality of just to make fun of the cosmic sort of idea of it, is the luck balance of the universe. If you're really lucky in one area, that unluckiness to outweigh that luckiness to balance you back out is coming. Always coming.
Okay.
So, in 2012, I never ever saw NRGJ on the shelves, ever. I saw Fangdom once. Never saw it, ever. And later that year, when Lloyd's EX came out, that was the start of my reselling escapades. So, like, because you could only find Lloyd in the Epic Dragon battle, the cheapest way to get him would be the spinner, if you could even find it in stores. My mother and I would regularly just go out and shop or whatever. We would buy every single Lloyd ZX we came across and flip them for double the price. Because people are that desperate. So, again, like, I made a whole bunch of money here from selling Lloyd ZXs, but luck balance of the universe dictates that I never get Energy J.
That's fascinating.
So now he's like $1,000 or name your price.
Wait. Nah, he is not that much. I've seen videos listing him, and he's definitely not that much.
There are listings that get made that do not last.
Okay.
Last time that I checked, Bricklink did not have a listing available for him. Really? And on eBay, they only had like 2 or 3, and they were $1,000 plus.
Yeah, but that's eBay. I think eBay, it's known for the outrageous prices.
See, the problem is that because there isn't any available for sale is the issue. So those that still have, and I'm talking about a sealed copy here, mind you.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, I'm a stickler for that. Because I want the cards too, and I want them to be pristine too, and that's very hard to come by without it still being in its clamshell. The clamshell, it's blister pack. That's the one. Because like the other spinners that I'm missing, the original Nia, and the Fangdom spinner, which I didn't purchase the day that I found it, by the way, which is very stupid of me. They're still at prices where I don't feel like I can eventually end up purchasing them because, those minifigures are available in all these other sets, but NRGJ is not. NRGJ is only in one single spinner set that was impossible to find.
Wow. Yeah, he was, wasn't he? God.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I don't have NRGJ either, but I did get Lloyd ZX because, my mom just found it somewhere and just got it for me when I was little. But, yeah, I got lucky on that one, but NRGJ. I have his face and his hood, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't want to part out the set because I can't guarantee quality. And buying the cards, which is one of my biggest appeals, is very challenging because either people are selling them as a bundle because they looked up which ones go with which, but they look like junk, or they're pristine, don't go for fair amounts of money, or only some of them are available and some of them are not.
Yeah, it's definitely a rocky road when it comes to the aftermarket for that guy.
Oh, yes. I need to put my due diligence in to find one that's more affordable, but
I wish you much luck in finding him.
That will come at a time when I have better expendable income.
That's fair.
Because it's still going to cost an arm and a leg regardless.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so my final question to end this whole thing off is, do you have any advice for TFOLs?
Yes. My advice is don't care as much about what people think about you collecting. Do what you want, do what you love. If it makes you happy, do it. Doesn't matter if somebody says anything otherwise. And, some people might find out and make fun of you. Are you happy? Are you happy that you're enjoying the thing? Then keep enjoying the thing. They don't get it. Or they just want to tease you because they're jealous. Who knows? Just don't worry about it. Love what you love.
All right, that's fantastic advice. And I completely agree with that.
Oh, and one other thing. Don't trade your minifigures. Don't trade your minifigures. Whatever you do, do not trade them. You either are going to want to have the complete set back together again and you want to buy an individual minifigure and it costs $100 or something, or you want to get rid of the set and you don't have the part that everybody wants, so the value that you would have wanted to get out of it isn't there anymore. Don't trade your minifigures. Ever.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I really quickly, actually, just a side thing here is that when I was little, a bunch of kids in my soccer class and stuff like that, I'd see them trading minifigures and I'd see Ninjago figures in there and I'd always be like, how do you do that? You're crazy. But that just took me back.
I get it for spare collectible minifigures.
Yeah, that's fair. But no, when it comes to set stuff, nah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Pen. It was awesome having you. And before we end this episode, do you have any social medias or other things that you'd like to plug?
Yes, I am on YouTube, PenPlays, Instagram, PenPlays Insta, Twitter is @PenKid11, and you might find me elsewhere in LEGO community too, so just keep an eye out. My logo is kind of recognizable.
All right. Awesome. So everything that we've talked about, or the majority of what we've talked about at least, I will link in the description if it has things that, if it can be linked to, and you can find all that stuff in the description. And thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed. That's all for now, and we'll see you all later.